Hello and welcome to the Centre for Computing History.
Hello.
And today we're looking at a piece of old touchscreen technology, aren't we?
Yeah, this is really quite terrible stuff. Look at this. This is just low resolution nonsense. We're kidding, of course. This is, of course, a Microsoft Surface Book. And you might think that this is new and exciting and it's got all the fancy touchscreen pen technology. Actually, that's been around for quite a while. So we're going to put this to one side and look at something a little bit older.
Oh, and heavier, I might add.
This, this is the Compaq Concerto, and you weren't quite sure which way around to put it, and that's because it's basically an upside-down laptop. It doesn't open up in the traditional clamshell design. Instead, it's got something that pops out at the back like that, and then the front folds down. Look at that. It's even got a little pen, just like the Surface Book.
A lot larger pen.
Yeah, also the battery on this is basically dead, so we're going to plug it into the mains. Turn it on. Now this dates from about 1993, and it actually runs a copy of Windows 3.11, and it's not turning on. There we go. Microsoft were pushing pen computing even back then, and they had a specially modified copy of Windows 3 called Windows for Pen Computing, version 1, which was basically Windows 3.11 with some extra touchscreen drivers built in, some handwriting recognition. We're going to give it a go. Starting MS-DOS, because of course back then Windows was not entirely standalone. It needed DOS to boot it up and let it take over. If you can't quite see the screen, we can adjust the contrast here. Oop, wrong way. With the pen. I don't know if these work with your fingers. No, they don't. This is actually an active digitizer. It's not resistive, so it will track the cursor just above the screen. Apparently you could use that for implementing tooltips. So, yeah.
So we've got all the usual early Windows commands, so MS-DOS prompt here.
Don't go into the DOS prompt, you can't use that with a pen.
So what can we actually go into here?
Try Microsoft Pen Tools, they give you some sample applications.
Okay. So double tap, as you would with a mouse, I guess.
There is a button on the side, I think you can hold it down if you want to right click.
So if we go into Notebook here, can we actually write with the pen?
I bet you can, give it a go.
Let's give it a go. Okay.
Microsoft Notebook. Oh, someone's been here before us.
They have.
Let's get rid of that.
So, how are we going to get into there?
Page clear, maybe?
Page, delete page. Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
So start writing.
So
show us your handwriting.
My handwriting's not the best anyway, but... Oh.
I think you...
Wow.
You've got to press it slightly so the pen tip registers that it's actually being pressed.
Okay. My goodness me, so...
It's fairly sensitive.
Oh, you get used to it quite quickly, actually. So... Let's just do a simple... slightly inane message there. And then it clears. Nice. So...
I don't think we know how to use Notebook.
No.
Let's try something else.
So let's shut that down.
Try sample form. That one sounds good. There we go.
So
proper forms.
I take it I've got to do...
You've got to do very careful letters.
Oh my goodness me. I think this technology, it's safe to say, has come on a long way.
It has. It got your A though. It recognised that A. Can you do a D?
Oh yes, look, here we go.
This is much faster than using the keyboard. You can see why this totally caught on in '93. Not so good at the I's though. That's a 1.
Oh, that's a 1. Oh, it's modern spelling, it's DJ spelling, isn't it?
For 1993, it was actually fairly impressive. And if you ever get your hands on any of the pen computing ones, make sure you keep all the disks to hand. This one has a stack of them because it's a full Windows 3.11 install, plus the Windows for Pen Computing update. And there's also a special one in here for the graphics drivers. Do not lose that, because all the handwriting recognition, the digitizer interface, is actually part of the graphics drivers in this weird sort of Frankenstein Windows build they did.
So if you were to make a mistake here, how do you actually correct it?
I'm not sure. On the modern Surface, I think you can just swipe through a letter to delete it.
There's also some little button on the pen here.
That's your right click. You hold that down and then you can right click. For all those times you had to right click in Windows 3.
Yeah. So, oh, don't hold the... Oh my word. See, I did actually get an I that time.
Try doing some joined up writing on the address line. I want to see how it handles that.
On the address line, right, okay. I don't.
I think you have to do it on the actual line down here.
Oh, really? Right, so
I'm amazed if it, no,
it's
not happy at all, is it?
Let's just try a simple word.
I'll be honest, even I couldn't read that one.
No, it's really not happy with that, is it? So
yeah, so it was Compaq weren't the only people doing pen for Windows machines. There were a handful of manufacturers who signed on to the whole thing. On the whole, none of them were particularly successful. You're paying a lot of money for a feature that was basically gimmicky.
So how much did this actually cost?
Apparently list price was about $2,800. But you got a lot for that money. It was a 486, maybe 4 meg of RAM, VGA screen, but active digitizer, as we said. So it was an early adopter's machine. It was the first widely produced slate computer, as the term was back then. And in many ways, it's the forerunner of today's modern pen-enabled computers.
And the fact that its main feature barely works doesn't...
That's always the way with early adoption, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone's got to take the hit on the terrible early products.
Yeah. Take the Xbox 360, for instance. Absolute rubbish.
Not if you paid me. I do know that it has a detachable keyboard, which is very fancy, and that does extend if you pull it hard enough. Quite why you'd want your keyboard to sit 16 inches from the screen, I'm not sure, particularly given you're going to be drawing on the screen anyway. But hey, there you go. It's a weird little slice of where people thought computing was going to go.
But unlike the Surface Book, you probably couldn't write with your finger or...
No, this is not a resistive screen at all.
Yeah.
You need the pen. If you lose the pen, you're sort of stuck, which is why we've got a spare one sitting in the box. I don't know if it came with the spare or if you had to purchase it separately. Probably separately. But as digitizers go, it's actually not that bad. It's just the handwriting recognition lets it down.
Yeah, let's see if it can work out what I'm writing here.
This is a lot of rubbish.
Well,
it got most of it.
Well, it's got a I, an A, a couple of O. Ooh.
I'd be amazed if any machine can get that. It's good enough, computing history. So yeah, that's the Compaq Concerto.
And it's a complete load of rubbish, isn't it?
Yes, but it was really neat at the time, and it's pretty neat today. And it's got this cool little built-in pen holder.
But it's very thick and heavy. And we're really just rambling now, aren't we?
It is. It's mostly the battery. Battery tech is where a lot of the advancements have gone over the last 20 years.
Do you know something else I'm seeing here? Terrible viewing angle.
Oh, so it is. Yeah, back in the 90s, of course, LCDs weren't great, even the best ones. If you drifted it aside at all, the colours inverted, it was all horrible. With the digitizer layer on top, this is another handicap to overcome. Yeah.
Well, so that's the Compaq Concerto. Not sure I'd been terribly happy if I'd have bought one back in the day. A bit gimmicky. And
if you bought one back in the day, you'd have been pulling this out every opportunity, because this was a status symbol.
I've been pulling my hair out, to be honest with you.
Yep.
So, there we are. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Exit Windows. Zoom in on the DOS prompt.
Has it got Doom on it?